Hello and welcome to another Councillors update here on the Serenity Resource Connector. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're with us live or you're watching the replay. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And this very cute name has been waiting since 7:26 Jamaica time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Great to have you. If this is your first time joining us, it means that you would have missed 6 of the divisions, but not to worry. The playlist is there for you to go back and see what we discussed with Councillor Maraj for the first episode, where we looked at the updates for Mineral Heights and Rocky Point. And Councillor Maraj would have laid the foundation as it relates to the budget, how it works. So if you missed that, you want to go back and check that out. We also had updates from our councillors, Councillor from Hayes, Frank Field. We've also had Kellets and Croft Sale. So you've missed 6 of them if you didn't join us before. So we are on to the 7th and 8th councillors. Here out of the 22 divisions, if my maths is correct. So we have with us sharing from 2 divisions, Milk River and Denbigh, Councillors Carlton Bailey and Joel Williams. And I know a number of you are here and you have a lot of questions, but we're going to allow the councillors to share what it is that they have been doing in the different areas for their division. So we're going to start the discussion off with Councillor Bailey. Councillor Bailey, welcome to the Serenity Resource Connector space.
Thank you, Mrs. Witter, and good evening to your listeners. And I'm hoping that at the end of this program, I would have played my part in enlightening the constituents of the Milk River Division.
Fantastic. All right. So you can go ahead and let us know if in the comments if you're hearing us clearly, because we don't want you to miss anything. All right. So, Councillor Bailey, the general feedback has been the citizens want to know what the councillors are doing in the different divisions, and I know you would have a number of your constituents on, and there are others. Thank you, Cecilia. We'll fix that. And there are others who will be watching the replay. So tell us, in terms of communication, the councillors before said that they use a lot of WhatsApp to reach their citizens and different options. What other options have you been using to reach your constituents?
Face to face. As best as possible, I try to interact with those who I come across on a daily basis. Like, for example, every Monday morning, I am in the division, in the Milk River Resource Center, assisting those who want documents to be signed and verified and so on. I do that as a justice of the peace, but it allows me to interact with those persons who come to me, not on a political level, but in regards to their needs, their wants, and what they are expecting. After leaving that, I'm going to give me a bit to do the same thing. In doing that, you're driving, you come across somebody, you stop, you reason with them. Sometimes you don't have the time to really stop and have a fulsome discussion with them. Some are offended by that because I have come to realize in the almost 25 years that I've been here, that persons are of the view that whatever you're doing, you have to drop it and attend to them. And not all times you can do that. But you see, I have learned over the years not to, for want of a better term, not to be aggressive. Even though they claim that I do have no manners, but what I have always said, anyone you hear saying that, find out from them what is it that they have done for me to respond to them in a manner that they would say that I do have no manners. I use Facebook, I use WhatsApp, status, messages, I have group messages, I have what you would call it, broadcast listing. So whenever I want to get any information out there quickly, status, and WhatsApp. Like the other day, I was approached by Heart, so that they wanted some persons. Noted I said persons, not female or male, persons who they could train on a rapid program for 3 days and give them 2 certification. And I sent it out by status. And the thing is that I sent it out by my WhatsApp status. And the thing is that people from as far as Mapen, Old Harbour, seeing it and having it shared by others, made contact. And sad to say I had to limit it to those who are from my division, right? But we try our best. But sometimes under trying circumstances, they make us feel as if our best is never good enough. And before I leave that point, Mrs. Witter, I want to point out this. In 90% of the cases when people say that councillors not doing anything, they are saying it from a point of view of their pocket. Their pocket. They have the view that every time the councillor see them, the councillor must give them money, the councillor must buy them a drink, and so on. And, right, and I've proven it over and over.
Yes, so let's share with them what exactly you have been doing in your division in the area of the development. What's going on in Milk River development-wise?
All right, in regards to the municipal corporation, the fundings that we get, I believe in developing the community. I believe strongly in that, developing the community. And I normally tell people a simple thing. If I get the opportunity to put up one street light, it does not benefit only the person whose gate or the post nearest that benefit from it. If you're a stranger coming into the community at night, you benefit from it. And I tend to normally focus on training. Over the years, I've been fortunate enough to get Heart working with me. And plus, we use the parochial revenue fund to do roads, improve the municipal roads. But persons are of the view that the main roads are also our purview, which is not. But I can count in my division the number of roads that has not yet been fixed. But the sad thing is that when you fix these roads, National Water Commission, which I regard as the biggest enemy to councillors and the municipal corporation, the pipe destroy the thing. And in most instances, when you see the little pipe, the pipe just start leaking, and you call them and you make a report. All right, I'll give you an example. There is a road in Milk River that we call Brands River. Brands River has a leak at the entrance of a lane that goes around to about 5, 6, 7 houses. And I have reported it from October last year. From October last year, I've reported it. And today is what? The 27th of April, 2023. It has still not been fixed. And I've reported it more than 5 times. So we do the work, NWC mash it up. We do the work, people building houses are doing concrete work, they choose the road to mix the cement and claim that it is strengthening the road. And it can't strengthen the road because one material flexes, that is the original road material, and concrete is rigid. But no matter for the life of me, you tell them that, and when they think that you are fighting against them and you stop them food. So, but I believe strongly in development.
So as it relates to that, Councillor, because when you have the monthly meetings, we do have the agencies coming out. What has been happening with the NWC and in terms of enforcement? Because for those citizens who continue to mix the cement on the roadway, what exactly is being done?
All right. To be honest with you, in regards to that, we have sort of see that not so prominent again, because we have been getting the message out. But NWC, to me, how can you have a system and you see a leak right there 100 feet from where you're standing, and you fix that, and another one just a little bit down the road, and citizens will come to you and tell you there's a leak down there. You're there with the equipment, you're there with the backhoe, you're there with the plumbers, you're there with material. And the response to citizens most time is that we were not told of that leak, so we can't fix it. And I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that sounds like operational management situation.
Okay. Here you have it.
I'm pretty sure the council should be able to deal with at those meetings that you have. Right.
No, we have dealt with
that's something that's to be noted, and because I know this is nothing new, it's been the same over the years, and I'm looking forward to that. But we have limited time, and I'm sure that your constituents want to hear some of the good things that have been happening in Milk River. So share with us some positive things that have been happening in Milk River. Anything in terms of economic development?
Right. The Milk River division is made up mostly of farmer sugarcane lands. And you know that there is nothing progressive in terms of sugarcane nowadays. We were hoping that the Vernon Field project that we heard a lot of chattings about would have been underway by now, but only to find out that the white paper, which would have moved it ahead, is now just being prepared to go to cabinet. That now in my mind, if that had come on stream, that now in my mind would have, if what was said, if all the hype about, if all of that had come true, you would have had young people being trained in regards to different things. You would have work, and that would have been the biggest economic push for all of the Very area in Clarendon.
Right. And as you know, there was a request sent in the Clarendon leaders group regarding that Vernon Field. I'm glad you brought it up as to what is happening there. At least it reached white paper stage. However,
not fully, because it's not completed. Recently, somebody reached out to our member of parliament asking for a meeting because they are a consultant on the program who is preparing the white paper to be accepted and taken to parliament. So we are nowhere near that.
Also, still in consultation stage.
Exactly.
All right.
That is the knowledge I have in regards to it. Probably Councillor Williams can probably give you more insight into the thing, seeing that he is the right-hand man of the gentleman that was pushing it.
When we get to Councillor Williams, we'll see what he has.
We can ask him.
Right, on that. But outside of that, as leadership for the parish, local level, I'm pretty sure there are some things that we can do. So this is one of the items from this program, just to share with the viewers that we don't just sit and have discussion. We bring back whatever it is that comes to the fore here, whether it's in the area of culture for the first week, in terms of community safety and security, whatever comes out on the program is brought back to the Parish Development Committee or the Interagency Network for action to be taken. So we don't just sit and talk here. Things are being done.
Good to hear.
Right.
Good to hear. But from my perspective,
so that has to be dealt with as leaders in the parish council. I'm sure
Well,
there are some things that we can do.
I hope so, because what I've come to realize is that most persons who you would think are the top, the leaders, most of them just believe in self-aggrandization. So
All right.
let us watch and see.
We do what it is that we can do. I believe in doing what it is that we can do
Mm-hmm.
and take it from there, which is part of the reason why we're having these discussions, to make sure that we highlight some of the challenges that's been experienced and to let the citizens understand the things that are being done, because sometimes it's not so clear to the average citizen as to what exactly the councillors or other entities in this space are doing. So we have less than 20 minutes to go. Right, so let's look at some of the, because for that area, I know the Milk River Bath would fall in your division.
Yes.
Right, what's going on with Milk River Bath?
Well, it's there. I know for a fact that some work, I'm not sure if they are completed yet, but some work was being done, repainting, and some other things, which when I passed there the last time, which has given it a lighter look. But I think much more can be done and should be done in regards to that. That is a gem. That is a gem. But I think the country, we need to do more work more quickly. You will do some work this year and probably 2-3 years down the line before you do another piece of work. To be honest with you, I was hoping at one stage that we would have been able, the country would have been able to identify an investor who would take over the thing, spend money on it, and see what, because it is the mineral in it is better than even Baden. It's one of the top mineral springs in the world.
Right. There's some discussion before in terms of the remember serve correctly, the tourism enhancement fund. Some discussion was taking place there. Is it that we need to do more in the area of advocacy in terms of sourcing funds? Because yes, getting private investors in, but then what we don't want is a situation where what's happening on the northern side of the island, we have it coming over here where the thing is privatized to the extent that the local citizens can't even access it anymore.
I understand. I was just telling you that back in the days that was one of my dreams. But as what you said, that we don't want to end up like an outpost. But what I can tell you is that persons have been coming into the area. They don't want to sleep in any hotel. They want to sleep out in the open. They want to interact with the crocs. They want to go and look at Godwell. They want to go and look at Sea Cow. They want to go and look at Guts River. What I would really love to see now is more people in the community in this big push to have Airbnb. Because money can be made from it. Money can be made from it.
Right. But so outside of the Airbnb, we need to the roads to get to those locations. How are they? Because then we need to consider in terms of tours to those areas for it to be really sustainable. So that's something that we have to look at. And I'm sure there are a lot of that in the number of persons on in the parish development plan. What's happening in your area? Any further consultation in your area for the development of the plan? The parish development plan.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
It's all right. We have an update coming up later this year where we can get the details on that. Just checking if you're aware.
It's just that I'm not seeing what would move me to believe that we are really serious about this thing. And when I say that, I am saying it based on the fact that far too often, and most of the time, I have to be focusing on local infrastructure in terms of road. And we need to understand that main roads are not mine. The municipal corporation will not allow me to spend money on main roads. And we need for central government to allocate funds to clean up those drains that impacts on the main roads. We need funding to do the road. The member of parliament is trying his best. Once he identifies some funds, he patches the road along. But as you mentioned road, one of the things that I would love to see taking place in Milk River, there is always this talk about taking the heavily laden trucks off the spur tree. And it can be done. There is a road that runs from Milk River. We call that section of Milk River Pond Crossing, our South Coast Road. And if we repair that road, bring it to a level, we can then now start diverting the heavily laden trucks from off the hill, because it's basically a flat road, just apart from probably about 2 or 3 or 4 miles. But put them through there, so they would pass Godwell, they would pass Seacow, they would pass Guts River, which is pure level land. The only thing is that you would have to widen about 6 corners. And I am sure if we were able to do that, the economy of the community would bloom. Because for those of us who notice on the road every day, every truck man have a special spot to stop. And you can imagine all those trucks with when the road is good and South Coast Road properly taken care of. You can imagine all those trucks coming through the Milk River community, what the economic situation would be like. Because persons are of the opinion that Milk River is a dead end community. It is not. Because it joins us to St. Elizabeth. Local leadership, central leadership, MPs, the councillors in that space do to advance this idea, this vision that you have, to make it a part of, because I can't remember seeing that in the parish development plan. Okay. So it's something that was discussed. How can it be tabled so we can move forward if it's something that can benefit, not because it wouldn't be benefiting just Clarendon, it was be the entire South. It benefit Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and it would cut down on the accidents on Spur Tree. But this is something that not only me, but the community has been saying. But there are persons who feel that they are the bigger heads and they should look at it a different way. And I've always said, you cannot prepare a development plan for a community and you don't talk to the people. Just like what is happening now with the constitutional reform, you have to talk to the people. If you don't talk to the people, you'll get nowhere. And I wish one day you would drive that stretch of road that I'm telling you about. Right now it's bushy, it's overlapping, but if you drive that road, you will understand and see what I'm talking about. I wouldn't want to drive there now. The last time I went through there, it's a good thing. Oh, so you know the road. It was in good order. You're the one so you know the road around there. So you know. Yeah, you know the road. So you understand what I'm saying. It's just when you leave Milk River proper, it's just about 5 miles or so hilly terrain. After that, all of that is flat. Yes, once the road is fixed, it's much
faster to get to it's Alligator Pond and those areas. Yes, we understand. All right, so we have less than 4 minutes, and you've been sharing some of your vision so far. Unfortunately, the flyers that you sent, I'm on the mobile, so I'm not able to share that now. So 4 minutes.
All right, so let me just tell
share.
every year from 2004, and when I say we, I'm talking about in collaboration with my colleagues in the division. We put on what we call Bailey Sports. Bailey Sports. And that is after I have 4 primary school, primary infant school. And after they have had their sports day, I bring all of them to our national, quote unquote, national championship. And we spread it around each year. Each year is a different school. And the schools use that as a fundraiser. Plus, at the end of the day, we provide funding. The school that comes first normally get about 30,000, second 25, third 20, and fourth 15. So we do that every year because we want to make sure that, and the good thing is that there are persons running for Jamaica now who have gone through Bailey Sports. We also do, and in fact, I up to now I have not proven that any other councillor does anything like that. And it is Bailey Sports time. We'll be having it the 11th of May, and the communities are going wild in regards to Bailey Sports. Every child that you see on the road, Mr. Bailey, we're ready for Bailey Sports. And it brings a lot of joy to my heart. Every year, I keep a free back to school medical. And what I find happening now is that when the parents, because we do not allow any student to come without parent. So when the parents come with the student, they also sneak in and get a check. The doctor check them out and issue prescription if any is needed and so on. So I think we are doing what we're supposed to do, and that is representing the people. Because a lot of people don't understand this, To be a successful councillor, you have to love people, And for the 25 years that I'm almost there, then I love my people because I see the struggles that they are going through. And sometimes when I come home at night and realize a little old lady is suffering, tears come to my eyes. You have to love people. You have to love people. And you have to love children. And that is why a lot of my focus is normally on the schools. I may not pay much attention to the high school because the member of parliament normally does that. But my primary schools, my basic schools, I pay a lot of attention to it. So,
okay, it's great that you mentioned that in terms of the fact that even though as the council, your focus is on the primary schools, the basic schools, the MP looks at the high school. The important thing is that there's representation at the different levels. All right.
And before you move, with funds allocated by the municipal corporation, I use it to try my best to assist most of them. We can't do everybody, but we assist them to go back to school. Some people might be, well, let us not go down that line, but we try our best. No, and we do it with funds from our pocket.
Yeah, the councils would have been sharing that based on the amount allocated, it's not enough to go around.
Never.
They have to find creative ways to get it done. All right. Thank you so much, Councillor Bailey. I'm sure there's a lot more, but we're going to have to create another opportunity for you to share that. Thank you, Ramona, always sharing some really awesome information. Thank you so much, Councillor Bailey. All right.
Welcome.
And Councillor Bailey makes room for our next councillor for this forum, Councillor Joel Williams from the Denbigh Division. Councillor Williams, open your microphone and let's talk. Are you with us, Councillor? Councillor Williams, not hearing you. Your microphone is muted. Right, while he gets that sorted out. Right, so we are on another episode of Councillors Update, where we're hearing from the councillors what they're doing in the different areas, economic development, development in general in the space, what activities are taking place there in terms of infrastructural development, social development, and you hear the concerns, and I'm sure the different entities are taking notes. Outside of that, the updates will be provided at the interagency network for the respective agency or service provider to action the areas that needs to be addressed. All right. I'm happy to report too from the previous discussion with the councillors up in Kellett and Crofts Hill that information that was shared regarding the number of street lights or the lack thereof is being addressed. The Jamaica Public Service has been addressing that. They should have had a meeting, so we're hoping to have some updates on that to see where they're at in terms of some time frame for that to be dealt with. All right, let's go again. Councillor Williams, let's hear you. Councillor Williams, are you hearing? Seem to be having some technical challenge there. Councillor Williams, let's try without the earpiece and see if you're here to be able to hear. Are you hearing? Your microphone is unmuted. Seeing you, but not hearing. Doesn't seem as if you're hearing me. We apologize for that. We did the test and everything was good before. I trust that we'll be able to hear from Councillor Williams as he shares from the Denbigh division. Still not hearing anything, Councillor Williams. Not sure what's going on there.
You're hearing me?
I'm hearing you, Councillor Bailey.
Probably you need to get somebody to call him direct. It seemed to be his connection. So while we're waiting on that to be sorted out, let's not keep the viewers waiting, but let's share in terms of
Any are there any economic, not economic now, but are there environmental challenges in the Milk River division?
They're
That
always, they're always, yeah. Because
what's been what's been done in that area?
well, most instances the problem has to do with garbage collection. And
Oh,
what is happening is that persons living outside of the Gimme Vernon Field area um, is resulting again to dumping garbage on the airstrip in the bushes that runs parallel to the airstrip. Um, the it's sad. It is sad that most instances our cries are falling on deaf ears. I don't even know, I don't even want to blame National Solid Waste Management Authority solely, but they are the frontline persons. They have to take some of the blame. Um, in all fairness to them, since of late, I've seen some improvement. I've seen some improvement, and we just have to be on the lookout for those who want to come into our communities and dump garbage. Right. So we try.
but outside of that, in terms of the citizen sensitization, because a part of the challenge is the irresponsible dumping of garbage. Has
Mhm.
there been anything done in that area in terms of
What I have done is that I have sought to get information from the supervisor for the area, that the supervisor whose work impacts on the Milk River division, like Springfield, Sedgepan, Milk River proper, Falka Beach, Gimme Gravel Hill, Gravel Ground, Cooks Gate, Rowington, Vernon Field. We try once I get some information in regards to when they are coming, I normally post it up, post it in the community groups, and I know that the members of the community group spread it far and wide. So in most instances, when the garbage truck is coming, people are aware. They put out the garbage; it is collected by the truck. So that is one of the things that we try to do to make sure that we don't have garbage strewn all over the place in the division.
okay, all right. One moment, let's
Are
see
you
if
hearing me now? Are, hello?
here we go. All right, thank you, Councillor Bailey. We're
Yes.
hearing
You should.
Councillor Williams now. Sorry. All right. Welcome, Councillor Williams. Happy we got that fixed.
Thank you very much, and thanks. Good evening to your listeners and our viewers. And sorry for the delay. I was not hearing you at all.
I realized. All right. So let's get right into it. Development, what's going on in Denbigh, development-wise?
Well, I'm sure you're living in and around Maypen. You're living in Maypen, and of course, you would have seen a lot of private developments that are taking place on the various corridors. And indeed, that is if the economy of Maypen is going to be driven. That is what is going to drive it. Private investment. We cannot rely on government alone bringing all the investment that is needed to drive the economy.
That is right. We have to ensure. There's a concern though. Correct me if I am wrong, but I see a number of development in the area of supermarkets and wholesales. There are also a number of gas stations. What other kind of development is in that mix other than those areas?
If you look at the let's take the corridor of Jackson Street, Georges Street, you would have seen a number of townhouses going up in that area. And the reason for that, there are a number of students who are being trained at the Maypen Hospital, who are from different parts of the Caribbean. And so they need places to live.
That's right.
And so that is what is driving that development along that corridor. as far back as Denbigh Crescent, because right now, Denbigh Crescent have doctors living in there. And that's why I hope on that side road that we call Harlem Avenue, that runs from Jackson Street back into Denbigh Crescent. If you notice, I'm not sure if you have driven there recently, but it is properly paved, well, Barber Green, and I'm having problem now with the taxi operators because they are speeding through there.
Oh, we're gonna have to find a way to address that, because that's gonna
Yes,
compound the challenges for the hospital, and we don't want that at all. Right. But
indeed.
yes, yes.
And
It's cool.
so I have
Yes,
I have had discussion with our Sue, engineer at the parish council, municipal corporation, and so I'll be putting in some speed bumps there in short order.
okay. Well, are there any implications for that, for the citizens living along that stretch?
No, none at all, because they too
Okay.
are asking for it to be done because they are at risk based on the speed that those operators are going through there with.
All right, awesome. So you're responding to the cry of the citizens, and that's what we want to
Indeed,
hear.
as always.
Awesome. How is the garbage collection in your division?
Well, the garbage collection has improved significantly over the last, I would say, the last 2.5 months. It improved significantly over what we were facing up to last year. So, what we are now encouraging people to do what what is called the separation of garbage. You put the bottles away differently. You put the peels from your food differently. You use that to fertilize your garden,
Right.
and so
Awesome.
you put just what is necessary in the garbage for disposal.
What medium are you using to drive that initiative? Or
Well,
medium?
when some you know me, I am in my division 24 hours a day. Between there and the office, our constituency office opens from Sunday to Sunday. And so both myself, the member of parliament, my other councillor colleagues are reachable. So that's not an issue. And we have our WhatsApp group, we you name it, all the various platforms, Instagram, Facebook, we're out there. So we are always reachable. My
Awesome.
phone rings up to 4 o'clock in the morning.
Your phones.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Because I realize most of your councillors have two phones, and both of them ringing at the same time.
At the same time.
Right.
Yes.
But in terms of, I know a lot's been taking place, especially in that division there, and there's always the concern about the ineffective use, for want of a better term, of the Denbigh showground. Any development in that area as to what we're gonna do about that space?
Well, that one is a fight on. I am in discussion, both myself and the member of parliament, along with the president, Mr. Fulton, of how we can really move Denbigh show. Recently, I have an investor, a gentleman who has invested a lot. He's a high-tech tech individual, and he wanted to move into that space, section of that space, to have what we call a drive-in theater. We were having some challenges. The member of parliament intervened, and we're getting around the problem that had existed, and we are expecting in short order you will see a lot of activity, additional activity along that corridor.
Great, because that space, it's really disheartening to see. It just
Well, it has become over the last I would say the last year or 2 years now, a very active space because from you leave the stoplight and down along that corridor. If you noticed also, you would have seen me doing a lot of beautification because I want to enhance the hospital corridor, that space within the hospital, right down to Denbigh at Jacobson. Huh? I deem it, I call it, I visited St. Lucia and I saw an area they call Rosy Lake. And that's a night spot for St. Lucia 7 days a week. And I just imagining that corridor from below the hospital down towards Jacob Hut. At night, you go, you get your roast fish, you get your jerk chicken, you get your jerk pork. I mean, the gas station is always very active. You have Ming on the other side of the road. It's going to be a corridor for the night.
Amazing. Right. But the space itself over by the showground, because I know that every year leading up to the Denbigh show, a lot of work have to go into preparing the space, which means I know that it would take a lot more to maintain it throughout the year, but the work that goes into preparing it for Denbigh show, if we can get some activities in that space so we can generate revenue to maintain, that's the kind of thing that we'd want to see. And I mean, in terms of additional opportunities for employment, that's a grand space there.
And I have been involved in discussion on that along that line with CEO Christopher Emmanuel, along also, as I said before, with Mr. Fulton. Up to recently, I have a big show coming in there in another month time from now. And in that discussion, I've been saying to them, hey, lease the place. You have areas that can be developed into restaurants. Put in a dragging trail, a juice bar. And so people can start to utilize the space and make it more attractive. Because the town, if you notice now, the town of Maypen is moving in that direction. So there's
right.
no way they can, it's a win-win for them. But I think sometimes, we're just stuck in this old parochial mood and we won't move. But we're trying as best as possible to get them to move in that and look in that direction.
Because you've been there for how many years? Have you been the councillor for that division?
I've been councillor for the Denbigh division for 22 years. That division, but I'm 29 years in the council.
Look at that. All right. Yeah. And you have been, which means that you have been working with your MP for all those years.
Oh, yes. Indeed.
So we're expecting much more from the team.
Well, it is said that there's a dream that makes the teams work, and we had a good, excellent team along with Mike. We had a very close working relationship, and that's the reason why we have been able to get so many things done. We have not separated councillor from MP. Whatever he has, he share. Whatever we have, he knows what we have. So we use it that way in order to enhance the development of the community. I'm not sure if you had gone into Bushy Park recently. The entire road network in Bushy Park has been redone by Green. We have a number. I know you said something to me earlier on about Denbigh. That road that leads, I think, is Jacob Hut. We had some challenges there going into racetrack over the years where we have water springing from beside a house there, and they just can't. I was advised recently that they have found the problem and they're resolving it, and I'm hoping that as soon as it's resolved, we will be able to fix that section of the road.
All right, thank you. And just to bring our viewers up to date, these questions that you see flagged in this shade are questions that were submitted via WhatsApp. So you can send your questions if you're not able to join us live. You can send in your questions and we will be sure to answer, so you can always go back and check out the replay for the responses.
Yes. Right, I'm just picking up online here where I saw the question to which I just spoke just now. The
That's right.
water at Jacob. Yeah,
That's right. Because this one was submitted directly to
yeah.
WhatsApp. So my WhatsApp number is 876. As a matter of fact, there's a community there for the Serenity Resource Connector that you can be
Mhm.
a part of. So you can send your questions. So I'm sharing the number. That's the number. Serenity Resource Connector. You can send your questions via WhatsApp if you're not able to join us live and you want the guests to respond to your question. So you can go back and check out the replay at your convenience. All right. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
that. You mentioned Bushy Park that inside has been nicely paved. There's usually a stretch that leads onto Howard Avenue. I'm not remembering that street. Always a challenge to navigate to get onto that side street there before you get
Yeah,
to
you're talking
Dr.
about
Bell.
Box Avenue. You're talking about Box Avenue, or are you talking about Howard Avenue?
No, it's Howard Avenue. That street that leads off Howard Avenue into getting over Bushy Park before you get to Dr. Bell Drive, that one in the middle.
Well,
There's
that's
usually a
North
problem
Street.
there. North Street, that one. Was that area
Uh-huh.
fixed? I've been there in a little while.
Well, well, as far as I'm aware, North Street is a fairly good corridor. We have a few areas in it that we needed to do a little sheet patching, not much, and that is on my agenda because what I have done. I have not spent what is sometimes we receive what is called road patching maintenance. We have that program through the council, but I
Right.
don't use it with $300,000. What I do is over time have it like for 3 4 months, and I have a tidy some there now. So all those side street, Gloucester Street, we have done some work on, and West Park in December. That was out allocation received by the member of parliament. So all of those side street we're making sure that they do not fall back in bad condition. But we're going to sheet patch them out and get them back in good order.
Fantastic. And there are usually some communities in between there that the living conditions are less, not a little, really less than desirable. How has that been going? Any work taking place there to change out some of those situations? I don't know if it falls in your division. It would be on to the right of Howard Avenue, as there are some communities in
That would
there.
be Box Avenue. That would be Box Avenue.
Okay.
To the right would be
Yeah.
Box Avenue. The challenge you face with that area is that those citizens who live along that area have suffered badly over the last many years. Because every time the flood rain comes, they are the first to be flooded out. And so my concern right now and the concern of the member of parliament is that we are pushing the government to try and give us some upgrade to those drains that run along that corridor. You have the drain that runs from Penguin Key and it comes across to across Howard Avenue, across Harris Street into Western Park. Those drains have outlived their useful life, and so they need to be upgraded. And unless that is one of the major problems that we're facing right now within the division and the constituency for those areas to be upgraded.
All right.
So
So
we are
we
hoping in another probably next budget that we will get some assistance through central government to start the upgrading.
All right. In terms of all right, so the housing, the drainage, that's gonna take some really serious investment in infrastructure. But as it
Funding.
relates to
Yeah.
the income level, what kind of social services are being offered to those residents as we speak through the
Well, you
respective
have a
entities?
you have a number of persons in those areas, the elderly, for example, and
Yeah,
young children who found it challenging to go to school there, and the PATH program, and other programs through government, other government are helping them so that they can, survive. And of course, through the office of the Member of Parliament, when we do receive funding through the Ministry of Social Security, to help them get their food packages, etc. Because these are persons who can't move, who really can't do anything of such to survive. So we either have to carry them on a program through the members of parliament, the member of parliament office, or through the PATH program, or through any other program that we have received through the Ministry of Social Security. But that's a group of persons that we have to make sure that we are closely in touch with, because some of them have very poor house condition too. And right now we have somewhere in the region about 5 or 6 of them to receive houses under the government housing program, the one that the Prime Minister is now driving.
right. What area will those houses be in?
If you go into along the main along Chapelton Road now, just above the Bags Factory, you will see one there. We have also in Pleasant Valley. We have some
Yeah.
to be built, one to be built in Buckner. We have to be built in Sevens Road, Effortville area. Yeah, and those are the areas that we have slated for construction to begin. We have 6, I think 6 or 7 to be constructed this year.
All right. Great. I trust that much more will be available because it's really concerning because when you see so
Yeah.
many cases popping up in terms of the number of people who are living in really deplorable conditions in the parish,
Mhm.
it's really disheartening. So I'm
We
happy
are
that
aware
some
of
things
that, but
are being done and hope that much more can be
yeah,
done to assist them.
much more can be done. And that's why we are making sure we drive the economy, the development, so that more taxes can be earned, so that more spending can take place as it relates to our social issues.
All right, fantastic. All right, we are going to go a little over the hour because we had a little hiccup earlier, but we have to hear Councillor Williams' vision for his division. What's your vision for the Denbigh
The
division?
vision, well, my vision is bigger than Denbigh. My vision is Central Clarendon. But let me put it to you this way. We have a beautiful highway that is just on the outskirt of Maypen. You're coming off the bus stop and off the not just out highway, taking us into the Glenmere space. There's presently discussion is now taking place for a private development to take place along that corridor. Not only to take place along that corridor, but I have a plan that is now in place for that entire corridor to be built out along Howard Avenue onto Chapelton Road. That I call the gateway into Maypen. But I don't ready to unfold it as yet. This is not going to be government funded. If we get the assistance from government resources, then fine. But we are looking at that. We are looking at the Herb McKinley Stadium, and we'll have another development. You know where that netball court is across from Glenmere High School?
Yes, yes.
Right. Well, that we have a plan is now being developed for there, and it is going to be something to be looked at. And as I said, I am in collaboration presently along with the Member of Parliament and a number of private investors a number of private investors, to see how quickly we can start, and you will see that vision. I will give you a little peep into what we're doing when I see you. It's going to blow your mind.
Awesome. But more so, my desire is that whatever it is that's been done, or something that's been done, if we can
Uh-huh.
inspire the other leaders across the parish to tap into some of those resources to get things to spread across, not just central, because our people in especially northern Clarendon, they feel really left out. A number of them have been sharing on the program when those councillors shared. And even when we have our discussion with the youth leaders, there's a concern that Northern Clarendon doesn't get much attention. And we really need to do something about that. So if when you meet, if we can share some of the strategies that we can use to garner some funds to invest in these other areas, because we have young people, vulnerable, young as well as old across the parish, and I really would love to see a wider spread.
Well, you know, in some part of the problem is that as a counselor, you can't relax. You have to find ways and means of how to identify funding. You have to know the doors that you can knock on. You have to understand that government resources alone will not enable you to develop your space, whether it be the division or the constituency. You have to put teams together to identify and find one governmental organization where you can get grants. And so these are some of the things that we have done in Central. We have just tightened up a particular five persons who are project writers coming out of a meeting we had last Sunday, out of our executive meeting. And they are tasked and charged to go and identify these funding across the world. We have contacts in the United States, Canada, and we are utilizing them to our disposal. Because that is the only way you're going to get the kind of development that you want. Government alone cannot find all the resources for the 63 members of parliament for development to take place at the same time. So it's for every councillor, every member of parliament, use your initiative, think outside the box, and find the resources.
Fantastic. I know this was not a part of the outline, but I have to bring this one in, as you mentioned, in terms of seeking funding, because a lot has been happening in terms of training opportunities as it relates to proposal writing. I know a number of entities have been coming into the space to facilitate that. There are a number of community-based organizations. How have you been working with your community-based organizations to bring them up to a level where you can support what it is that you're doing in a meaningful way?
Great. We have one of the finest such entity in the Treadlight area. We have one in Buckner. And that's an area that I would like to invite you into one of these days as the head of the chamber, for you to look and see what transformation has taken place there. And the same thing for Treadlight. And so those two bodies are driving those development, much of the development across the constituency. Right now we're building back out West Park, where West Park was initially perceived to be the training ground for young athletes. Right now we have refurbished the community center, and we have, I think we're putting in somewhere in the region between 9 to 10 computers there. I don't know if you remember John Green and Lloyd Plummer. John Green and Lloyd Plummer has started the youth football program in Clarendon. Out of that program came a number of players one of them was captain for the Jamaican team. And so we have rekindled that. That is now being driven by Garth Young, who is in that
Oh,
space, I think 3 times a week now. And he is there with a number of youngsters, and that development is now taking place there.
yeah. Oh, John Green was from the bookshop. That's Father Green. That was at the
Ah,
bookshop.
yes, indeed. Yes,
Ah,
correct.
yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
God
Yes,
bless his
yes,
soul. I know he's done a lot where football is
indeed.
concerned. Yes. Fantastic. And it's
Indeed,
great.
indeed, indeed,
Yes, it's
indeed.
great that Garth Young has taken up the mantle. All right, we need to talk.
Yes, he has. Yes, yes, you need to
Fantastic.
talk to him. You need to visit him there one day. He's there with, quite a number, over 50, 60, and, community came out looking quite exciting.
Fantastic. All right. Roger is saying that he's impressed with West Park and Treadlight development. And he has noted that the young people in that area love sports. And this is our youth leader for the parish. So he's right. And Treadlight,
Indeed,
there's been a lot about Treadlight, especially under the JCF program, they're a part of the Ready to. Some
indeed.
awesome stories coming out of that
Yes, yes.
project there. Amazing stuff. Love
Out of that
what's
space,
happening.
right.
Right.
That is now, yeah, we're doing a number of drains in that area right now, and the land will be surveyed, cut up, and sold to the residents who are living there. Again, kudos again to the member of parliament for that vision. Where there's no vision, the people perish.
Indeed. And the titles are being sorted out and all those good stuff.
And the titles have been sorted out. And
Fantastic.
that same approach is now taking place for where we call Box Common. The correct name is Carlton Glades. And
Yeah.
I think as I speak to you, we're somewhere in the region about 250 titles to be handed out to the residents in that area.
All right. Mar Noble Wind is excited about what's going on. All right. Really awesome things that are happening, and which is why we want to highlight some of these things, because it's easy to see the negative things because it's always coming at you, especially in mainstream media. So this space, as the
Yes.
name suggests, Serenity is a space where we share what's really happening, highlight some fantastic things that are happening, and inspire others to come on board to be a part of the awesome thing that's happening, and where there are challenges for others to identify where they can support, which is where the resource comes in, and to get moving in terms of the coming together to make some meaningful changes in our space. Councillor, thank you so much. Any
If I may,
comment? Yes, go ahead.
no, if I may just highlight this one, because right now we have some investors coming into the far point of the constituency, that is in the Pleasant Valley area, where we have a resident who has good limestone, and you know that limestone is now in demand across the world. And so we're working with him assiduously with those investors. And soon and very soon you will have limestone being shipped out of Jamaica, coming out of that area.
Fantastic. All right. Dr. Bradley is welcoming you back. This is the beauty about this space, regardless of wherever they are in the
Yes.
world, they can still serve. He's not back as yet,
Oh,
Dr.
Dr. Bradley, yes, yes, yes.
That's the beauty about this space. We can still connect and highlight
And,
the
and,
fantastic things.
I didn't tell you that Dr. Bradley's space is up for great development. The Maypen Hospital.
Oh, yes.
They have started working. The Maypen Hospital, they have started working, I think 2 days ago. We're doing entire refurbishing of the top of the hospital. We're going to be fencing the hospital, and a new structure where the car park is now will be built out into a new wing of that institution, and also the additional development to the clinic. So a lot of work is to come in short order.
Fantastic. Is that a part of the model that was showcased some time ago for the development of the
Indeed.
hospital? All right,
Yes,
great that
yes,
things are moving
yes,
ahead, and
indeed.
we are ensuring that the drainage is properly taken care of.
It's properly taken care of. Yes,
Fantastic,
yes,
because we were there
yes,
a couple of
yes,
years ago to do some handing over with some chamber members, and we almost had to call for water boots to get out of there.
yes,
So we have
yes,
to make
yes,
sure
yes.
that that is
We're working on that. And
okay.
I know there are times when you say I can't find a good restaurant to have a good lunch. Right across from the hospital to your left, if you're going into the town, you will see entire space clear there. A high-end restaurant is coming there. So you know we're not
That's
joking, and that's private development.
great. That's really great. All right. So you're hearing it, a lot is happening, and a lot more will be happening because with that extension of the highway, a lot of things are going to be
Yes,
taking place. And Clarendon is not just Clarendon, it's a part of the southern belt. So we have to be mindful of that and treat with the space accordingly. Any upcoming events, activities in your division, Councillor?
yes, we have always we are hoping that Sunday is coming. Sunday coming, we're hoping that Umberland will be going through to the last six for the finals for the Premier League. That is always the top of our sporting, you know. Yes, we have some cricket competition, as you know, that going into Treadlight, we have this awesome cricket ground there. And it has always been a lot of activity has always been taking place there. So yes, we are, and I told you about what is coming in this in another month, a big show at the
Right.
Denbigh showground. And a matter of fact, I should tell you, it's been promoted and driven by somebody who used to go to Central High School.
Fantastic. That is
Yes,
best because we have to be a part of the change that we want to see, whether we're still in this space or
right,
not. Wherever we're
right.
from, we have to take care of home.
Mhm.
However far we roam from home, we still need to make sure that we
Exactly.
take care of our home.
Indeed, indeed,
Yes,
indeed.
Dr.
And
Brad.
we couldn't end this discussion without picking up all the schools in and around Mapen, Glenmuir High, Denbigh High, Central High, Mapen, all of them. When you look at the numbers, they're doing extremely well, and we want to ask them to continue the good work, because without education, we're not going to go anywhere.
All right, great. So we extend commendation to the leadership of those institutions and we continue to support them in their efforts because it's really a challenging journey for them, I know, but
Yeah,
we continue. All right, so we have support from the local government level, coupled with our members of parliament. A number of them are sitting on the board of some of those institutions. And we also have support from the business community, I know, as well as the police. All right.
oh
So,
yes.
yeah, so we have come to the end of another councillors update, and it's 8 down so far. So we have what, 14 more to go. And we are looking forward to hear what's going on in the rest of those divisions. So let me thank Councillors Bailey and Williams for sharing space here and sharing what's going on in their space. And remember, you can always send your questions, leave your comments on the YouTube on the YouTube. Please leave your comments there, like and share the link so others can hear what's going on in the space. Remember, the playlist is there. You can go back and watch the different updates that will be shared so far. Last year, we did an extensive discussion on the different areas of the municipal corporation, the services that they offer, how you go about accessing the fees to access some of those services. And as we mentioned that, there's an upcoming symposium for barbers and hairdressers, Council, that's coming up.
Yes, I heard of that today.
Right, so look out for that.
Uh-huh.
Right. You can check out the day.
And if
Go ahead, Councillor.
And if I may say to you, because I also use the opportunity, you know, because when I go into a business place, I use the opportunity to find out and to talk to people. I walked into one of our major bank in Mapen some weeks ago, and the manager asked me, how can I join the chamber? Who is in charge of the chamber? So we need to talk, we need to get that outreach going.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so I need to give you, she gave me a card and I need to pass on the...
Okay, maybe one of those institutions where they had a change in manager.
Yes, there's a change.
Because most of the banks have been at the different chamber engagements so far. So please share the contact. You can
yes, I did.
As well. Right. So that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Right. Because we need to get more people on board so that we can have on.
And with so much business coming into the town, we need to have our chamber really kicking.
Yes. We need to have people who are willing to serve.
Yes.
Councillor Williams. Yes. That's a challenge. We have a lot of businesses, but we need business people who want to be a part of the change. Right.
Yes.
So we're going to be working together on that because there's a lot we can do together to make sure that we strengthen what's there. Because the chamber is part of the community-based organization structure in this space. So we'll work on that. All right. Fantastic. Right. Thank you so much. So we are going to wrap up this segment, and you all join us here again. We do this every Thursday, 8 p.m. Fourth Thursdays for Councillors Update. But for first Thursday, we do Culture Corner with the JCDC. Second Thursday, we have Community Safety and Security with the JCF Area 3. That's Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth. And you want to tune in for the next one. We're going to be getting some updates of what's happening in Area 3 as it relates to community safety and security. Third Thursdays, we are doing some discussions last month, or last week rather. In this month, we had a discussion with the Caribbean Coastal, let's see, CCAP, Caribbean Coastal Area Development Foundation. I hope that
foundation.
You can go back and check that out. They're doing CCAM. They're doing some fantastic work. And I am looking forward to one of those nature tours. So please go and support. They're on Instagram, Facebook, so you can check out what it is that they're doing. Someone left a comment later in the week to say that they have actually benefited from being a part of the program there at CCAM in some way or form for development. So please support. And we look forward to seeing you. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, set your notification bell. I shared the number earlier where you can be a part of the Serenity Resource Connector WhatsApp community. So you can get updates 876-871-8960. Or just connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And we are TikToking as well. So you can connect with us on those platforms. Thank you again, all, for tuning in, whether live or you're watching the replay. Councillors, thanks again. We have a lot more work to do, so I will be in touch. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Welcome and safe travel back.
You too. Thank you.
Welcome.